Hey, yo, what up, everybody? It's your friendly neighborhood fly guy, Kool Kim, aka NY All the Ideal, and I am on Changing the Hip Hop Guards with my brother, Sincere the Journalist, and my good brother, Uncle E. Hey, yo, 50 years of hip hop, and we still don't stop. Let's go, y'all. Peace.
Right. Hip hop is celebrating its 50th year this year. For Kool Kim of the UMCs, give me your top 10 list of MCs that inspired you.
Oh, man, you gonna come out the gate with like the worst question ever, yo. It's the one question I'm totally against having a list, right? And the reason
Okay.
being is because
Well, I flipped it. Instead of saying your favorites, I said
influences.
influences.
Yes. Thing is that no MC influences me as much as they have moments. Like people that have moments in their rhymes where you're like, yo, that moment was nuts. Like Kool Rap had this moment. Change this, not that change the seats, you must be kidding line from Talk Like Sex, but the line that he said, a little kid said, yo, I got a color TV, CD player, and car stereo, and all I want is a capsule. I also got a 38. Don't give me no hassle. Like, yo,
Yeah.
you can't. Kumo D is that's number two. Well, I'm the coolest of the cool. They call me a Mo D. And then another rapper who's as bad as me. I got a high power voice. I'm the party people's choice. Got so many rhymes I gotta take in voice. What? Yo, this dude is Kumo D. That's the moment when he was on Graffiti Rock. Big influence on me. Slick Rick. Well, I'm sitting on my lunch break, grinning my teeth. The last day of the week, boy, what a relief. My muscles kind of ached. They felt rigid and stiff. So I looked around. Then I smoked this big fat spliff. That's the moment I feared Slick Rick. You understand what I'm saying? Rakim, standing by the speaker. Suddenly I had this. Fever wasn't neither summer madness. But I just can't stand around. So the closer I get, the better it sound. My mind start to activate, dream and imaginate. When I heard this beat, I just had to make something from the top of my head. So I fell into the groove of the wax. And I said,
How can I move the
you know
crowd?
what I'm saying? You know, if you look at Super Lover C and Casanova Rudd, girls I got unlocked so similar to a prism. In my awesome jam that is causing me favoritism. I heard to be a doper, but this beats that cadence you can find. Like there's a whole world of hip hop that's born from that cadence, and 90% of these cats don't even know that that's their father. Like he's like the although this dude is a wonderful father, but he's like the hugest hip hop absentee dad because he's responsible for so many people's styles to study. I'm another one, so I'm like, what? I'm at 5 now. Another one. And I got the reason why I'm saying it this way is because it's moments, man. It's moments. Sometimes we got a science that it's moments. It's not the man. It's a moment. Sometimes you heard. You know, my dude, PMD Parish making dollars. I keep your hands clapping, fingers tapping. He said, feet tapping, fingers clapping, feet tapping. When it's time to go, who's in control? Who's rapping? That piece, you understand? I keep your hands clapping, fingers tapping, fingers snapping, feet tapping. Like you hear that run, that cadence run. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Unreal. You know, when you listen to a cat let me hold on a second. Let me get when you listen to a cat like so many oh man, it's just you know, there's so many. I'll give you one. Here's one. When you listen to uh uh the Brand Nubians, you better love me or leave me alone. I just gotta say the Brand Nubians on that. Like I can't even, and this is post
Pooba.
Grand Poobah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they delivered such a poignant song. You understand what I'm saying? I keep my tongue in my mouth because I don't see down south. You know what I'm saying? It's just these, it's moments. You understand what I'm saying? And so, and I can go on and on. Like I'm not, for the purposes of time and conversation, I'm not gonna go through but I can go on and on about these moments that people had. Ultimate, Stetsasonic. You know what I'm saying? From Daddy O, who was a higher registered voice, which like myself, So it's like, yo, that's a high register voice. I could do that too. To there's Daddy-O, there's with the supersonic bass, the highs, no, that's ultramagnetic.
Ultramagnetic.
But then there's Kool Keith,
Mm-hmm.
and which is funny because you got, when you look at ultramagnetic MCs, which would be UMMC.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We're the UMC.
Right, UMCs. Yeah.
You had said G. I got Haas G. You got Kool Keith.
Cool.
I'm Kool Kim.
Oh,
So
shit.
there's a discussion to be had that one of us is the great value version of the other. And unfortunately, it's probably us, yo. You know what I'm saying? As many fans as Keith got, yo, it's probably us is gonna end up being the great value version. But you know, all of these dudes, man, like, you know, Run DMC, you know, they call me Elephant Illa, and no one Illa. It's not Michael Jackson, and this is not Thriller. Like, when you hearing these cadences that these dudes was, and that's why it's sad sometimes when we talk about hip hop, and when you see like young people so disconnected from the origins and the growth of it, where it came from. It's not even so much about, yo, you gotta respect us because it's not even about them vibes. It's just about, yo, if you really love the art form, right? It's like you're missing out on so much dope music.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you're missing out on so many dope things, you know, because of some like silly ageism or prejudice or whatever, or like, oh, it's new times. Like, it don't matter if it's new times. Yo, when I want a vibe, I listen to Otis Redding. He before my time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But he sing like a man sing to me. So when he's singing the let me in, he just sing the whole song is let me in, let me in, let me in, let me in, let me ease on in. You like, this is the whole song, but he's singing so hard I can relate. I ain't gonna miss out on the vibes because it's before my time or ain't my style of music.
Right.
With the vibes. And so I'm sad for young people for that reason, but you know, hopefully, you know, over these next few years, man, you know what I'm saying, we could do the job of hip hoppers and show them the way.
Absolutely. Thank you for that list. Appreciate that.
We're trying. So, Kim, I'm going to kind of break it up a little bit because I also have my like top 5, top 10 type of questions.
That's cool.
Just to break it up a little bit. I want to ask you, how does it feel to not only be a fan of hip hop, but also a participant? Now that we're celebrating 50 years, like, how does that feel to you?
I'm not a fan of hip hop. Well, I know that's like a weird thing to say.
No, I get it, because I was kind of trying to figure. I didn't like using that word either, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's cool though. But I'm not a fan of hip hop because I'm an artisan, and so the fanship part is not as much there as the artistic curiosity and the endeavor to learn more, and then like I said, those moments that the artist having and appreciating, like when I think of Chip Fool, and I'm like, yo, this dude is so brilliant. Like, I think of a Twister, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this dude is so amazing, you know. Or, you know, when I think of a cat like Sugar Free, who is really a very underrated in the larger body of hip hop artists. This dude is amazing. He's been amazing for years in what he does. He just got a particular thing on. And so depending on what your vibes is, you may not vibe with, boy. But when we just talking about, where the rubber meets the road, son, give it up. And so I'm more into appreciating the art form as an artist. And so it precludes me from being a fan, because there's times where I have to step away from the music entirely, especially when I'm being creative, because I don't want to be influenced unduly by anybody else's work. You know what I'm saying? Because I come from that era where, you know, it's not even just biting is an issue, but just striving to be original, striving to say something unique and special. That's a big deal, man. And so it's hard for me to ever, you know, over engage other artists, because also as an artist, there's a saying that says good artists create, great artists copy. And I'm a great artist, and I don't want to ever be in a situation where I'm outright biting somebody because they done did something that I thought was dope. Like, I'll give you a great example. I got a particular lane. I'm very versatile. I can do any type of hip hop, right? I got this particular lane that kind of being more, you know, I make hip hop fun. Like I'm into that. Like I'm not just, you know, yeah, hip hop, hip hop, put you in the face. You know, it's like that's not my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not on that time. I'm more on like, yo, I want to have fun. I like ciphering. I like appreciating what people doing. You know, it's fun for me, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm into it, man. I bounce with it. And so, you know, that's the kind of like the vibes that I'm on, and that's the like the energy that I be bringing to hip hop to enjoy it. But like I said, I got a particular steez that I'm on, right? But they got this new kid that's running around. He rock with Sugar Free. In fact, I think he go by Sporty Gotti, right?
Okay.
And he got this clip on it, and he rocking to Papa Was a Rolling Stone, do 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 do. You know what I'm saying? And he just got that. He just got that intro rocking, do do. That and he just on his pimp thing hard. I put them down for this thing. And he just hitting, yo. He just it's a lick, yo. It's a lick, and it's the kind of lick that I for like a week every morning I woke up and listened to that joint, but I refused to make any music during that week. Because I guarantee you, my song with the next song I've been talking about, I'm getting in it, and it had been in my head, and I was like, nah, I can never do that.
Right. I mean? So maybe I should, instead of saying a fan, when it comes, because I don't consider myself a fan, to be honest with you either. I feel more like I'm just a participant of a culture.
Yeah, you know man. Like I feel like fan got, you know what it is? True fan, which is short for fanatic,
right?
Sometimes, which has been popularly spun to be stan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so we know that fan is short for fanatic, and it's like that has this negative connotation for those of us that's like, yo, I'm trying to keep my cool in this too, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, definitely. But again, it must feel great to be someone that's not just watching this from the outside and actually being in it and celebrating 50 years.
You know, again, not to be contrarian. I think that it feels great for me to be able to look my mother in the face, and my word is bond. My word is bond. My mother grew up in a group home. They used to put it in front of the class and make fun of her and say that she was dirty or that her dresses were too big because she would have to wear her older sister's dresses to go to school. They made fun of my mother. You heard? And her son travels the world. You heard? And rhymes and has impacted people's lives. And I was a social pundit on the BBC network, bro. Like I literally was, you know, a talking head giving that work to college professors, giving them this hip hop debate, and was solid, yo. Like I wasn't coming on there talking, just talking silly, like solid, poignant bills, man. That you know, as hip hoppers, you'd be proud of me to be on there. Like, yo, my brother did his thing. He repped to the fullest. You know how it used to be back in the day when somebody black get on TV or something like that, and they just rap. You be like, yo, he did his thing. Like good interview. That's how I was doing. And my mother, who watched BBC, you know, listen to the show World Have You Say, she got to see that. She sees that. My mother did something ill. You know, my mother-in-law just passed, you know, last month or the month before. It's time burning up. Yeah, you know, now I made more war, brothers. You know what I'm saying? Death is certain, man. This is certain. You know what I mean? And that same spirit, my mother was in the spirit like, yo, you know, I don't want to, I'm not leaving no inheritances for y'all. Because I don't want nobody to be living for me to die. But yo, I'm about to sell this house anyway because I'm getting older. I'm about to wrap it up. So I'm trying to be around y'all anyway. I'm gonna sell the house. I'm gonna gift y'all, you know, some of the proceeds from this house sale. And this way we can all enjoy while I'm physically here to see what I gift to my boys, what we do, right? And so right now, you know, I mean, I'm looking good, feeling good. But if you'd have caught me an hour ago, you just see me scruffy, hands ashy, clothes dusty, because I'm in my other studio, my new studio that I'm building. It's twice the size of the one I'm in now. You know what I'm saying? With that money, I want to show my mother. I always want to show my mother something great.
Right.
I want to the day she died. I want her to turn around and be like, "Yo, my son did that." So that hip hop was the means for that. To me, is what is amazing and beautiful. And I'm so thankful that I could be this MC and speak these words, and I speak these spells, and I have this impact on people. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I could sell this whole ill story about how dope it is to be downstairs at the concert venue, and it's a whole stadium and 5,000-10,000 people in the audience. You hear them hooting and hollering and carrying on, and then they come down. UMCs are up next. UMC's up next. You, like that adrenaline goes through you. Feel like you got to go to the bathroom suddenly, and your heart start beating. You be like, yo, butterflies in your stomach. You and your boys getting in a circle. Y'all start to make your prayer. Whatever y'all think y'all do to align yourselves mentally to go down and kick ass and take names later. That's what y'all do. And they're like, yo, UMCs, y'all up. Y'all come up out your dressing room. Y'all pumped up. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's like y'all walking in slow motion. It's just like, it's like the beginning of Belly and stuff when they was walking through the club. That's what it feels like. You just be walking like this, right? And yo, people be like lined up on the hall, like along the hallways as you're walking to get to the backstage or stage left or whatever. And you see some of the other artists that came off, and you ain't even seen them perform, but you could tell by the audience that they murdered it. Yo, I heard you killing that, son. They be like, yo, do your thing, son. You like, yeah. And you try to keep it cool, like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, yo. Y'all go out there, you standing at the edge of the stage, you're looking at your mans or whatever, your team, and they looking at you like, yo, y'all kind of trying to peek out the back, like, yo. You don't want nobody to see you, but you want to see this audience because you want to see if people are really there. And you want to know why you're looking at that to see that they're really there, bro? Because in essence, you know that you're going to sing these rhymes that you wrote on the phone with your best friend. The rhymes that you wrote beating on tables in lunchrooms.
Right.
Yo, 5,000 people are waiting for you to sing those words that you wrote right back to you. You understand? And you're like, yo, here it is, right? And then your DJ or your sound guy, whoever it is that's doing your sound for you, your DJ's like, yo, y'all turn y'all up. The guys in that, yo, coming to the stage. Yo, you know them wild and crazy dudes. You know what I'm saying? They did the song Blue Cheese. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why everybody kept saying that, but for some reason, right? Yeah, I don't know. Right? And then, when the growing, like, yeah, hey, that. Yo, coming to the stage. One of my favorite groups from Staten Island, New York, UMCs. My DJ go out. Boom, you get on the ones and twos. Boom, boom, boom. The UMC. Yo, you hearing your theme music come on. And it's like, yo, you get ready. The adrenaline's on 900. You understand what I'm saying? And yo, and then the come out on stage music comes on, your first joint. And you rush out on stage. And the crowd is screaming. And they're so excited to see you. And everything you ever worked for in that moment becomes real. And as amazing as that moment is, it would never hold a candle to the sound of my mother saying, go Papo, that's my nickname, go Papo, the first day that we went on our first trip to Texas with D Nice. You heard? And the limousine came out and pulled up in front of my buildings. My mother was on the terrace. This woman that was in a group home and laughed at, screaming for her son, who's on his way to being the number one rapper in the world at one point in his life. So yeah, that's that. I know that ain't quite the answer you expect, but that's the answer, my dude. That's the answer.
It might not be the one we expect, but it's the one that I'm glad you gave us.
Right, bon.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing that with us, though. I appreciate that.
All right.
I think, there's a human side to hip hop that's rarely engaged.
Yes.
And if I may for a moment, when corporations took control of our culture, they did what corporations normally do, which is go to the very base and simplest denomination to sell, because industry and business is about sales and marketing. I mean, at the end of the day, and you can't knock anybody that's in that business and doing what that business requires. However, you know, there's a perversion that's embedded in that. You know what I'm saying? When that happens, the hypermasculinization of black men, the bitchification of black women, materialize the over materialization and perverted values for what success means. That's what the face of this music has become over the 50 years, sadly, sometimes.
Right.
So it's really important, if not for anybody else, but for me, to express that this hip hop is just as much getting on stage and tearing it down as thinking about your old moms that was sitting in her room watching the stories while you was in the living room with your MPC or your DJ equipment or whatever you had, and you be playing the same goddamn beat over and over and over for hours and hours and hours. And I would like all of you MCs out there and all you hip hop hopefuls out there and every one of you that ever had anything to do with this, and you know what I'm talking about, man, to take a moment as you listen to these words, man. And I want you to think about the person in your life. Yo, Sincere, you too, yo, because there's somebody in y'all lives that believed in you unequivocally and cheered for you and rooted for you silently with no expectation of thanks, never even really witnessing you at your greatness, because that thing wasn't their thing. It was you that was their thing. And I just like everybody that's watching, yo, because this is what 50 years of hip hop is about. To take a moment and think about those people in your life that cared enough about you and believed in you, and their belief, low key, made the impossible possible for you. That's hip hop too, y'all.
Yeah, it is, man. And thank you for sharing that, because me and Sincere actually just recently we had a conversation, because I think Sincere can agree, right, that his mom and my mom are probably our number one fans and supporters of what we do, man. Like, they, I was just telling, like, my mother was like, man, I saw the other interview, man. You guys are so good. You guys are so good. More people need to see this, and more people need, like, champion us, man. And I, right, Sincere, I was telling you, and then, like, I always see Sincere's mom, so thank you for sharing that, man.
Nah, man, it's a real thing,
it means a lot.
It's a real thing, man. Yo, the reason why y'all talking to me right now, and and I'm not saying nothing against anybody, but I'm saying the reason y'all talking to me right now versus, whatever happened to Kool Kim type of thing, right? The reason why I'm out here grinding and being relevant to the extent that I am is, yo, man, 2 years, 2020, COVID's going down. I'm redoing the studio that I'm sitting in right now, which is a shed that I converted to a studio. And I grew up understanding, like, what we call them jailbird stories, where, like, a dude come home from prison and he gonna break down all of his elaborate plans. So what I endeavor to do is, now that I am home, I am going to endeavor upon facilitating an opportunity, whereas I can. You be like, some prison stories, son. You talking crazy, son. You know what I mean? Like, just do the work, son. Show me what you're gonna do. I'd be very mindful of talking like that to my mother, where I would be just saying stuff in my, like, I'm about show and prove to my mother, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, I'm talking and I'm like, yo, I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that. She's like, look. She say, look, have fun. Enjoy yourself. You're a good man. You literally built your house for your family. You raised them. You love on your wife. Go make music, man. Go enjoy yourself. She said, but keep it hip hop.
Dope. Mama's dope.
Keep it hip hop. So,
nice.
Again, like, there's no, And I know there's a lot of cats because, you know, again, with hip hop, and this is one of the things that I would like to see in the next 50 years. You know what I'm saying? Let's work towards the humanization of this music. And I think that I love the work that you guys are doing because it's important. It provides the platform for us to humanize who we are and what we do. Because here's one of the things that over these 50 years has been plaguing MCs is that we're never off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Kool Kim. You're never engaging Kim Sharpton. I never turn off Kool Kim. To the point that I literally never turn off Kool Kim. I'm always Kool Kim. Even with my wife, I'm always Kool Kim. Not that that's not me, but I'm always in performance mode.
Right.
But the problem is, and this has always been a problem when he talked about violence in the music, we would always reference Arnold Schwarzenegger. But here's the thing. We always knew to call him Arnold Schwarzenegger. We didn't call him Dutch.
Right.
I mean, we didn't call him Dutch from Predator. You know what I'm saying? We ain't call him, you know, T1 or whatever he was from Terminator.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We called him Arnold Schwarzenegger because that's his government name. And what Arnold Schwarzenegger would do after he played the Terminator or any of the other characters that he played, he would go on what's called a press junket, and he would sit down with journalists as Arnold Schwarzenegger to talk about his amazing performance in the part of the mass murdering robot that killed off everything. When 50 Cent has a discussion, you're not having a conversation with Curtis Jackson. You're having a conversation with 50 Cent, and it never ends. And so the music and the art, it's not even art imitating life. Life never starts. It's just only art. And so what that has done, it has limited us, one, in the scope of conversation we can have. In the now times when, you know, the economy of hip hop has changed, where now crowdfunding is sensible. You know what I'm saying? Things like having patrons, which is something that goes from the olden days. You know what I'm saying? A patron. Mm-hmm. But, you know, all of these different means by which artists can survive and be working artists. A lot of brothers from our community don't even know where to begin because they have been in playing the role. They've been in character nonstop. And so if your character was, I get money, I'm that guy, I'm sleeping with all the fly girl, when do you ever break from that to be able to say, hey, look, I want to do a new project and I'm looking for you, all my fans, to help me crowdfund it. Rip, rap, blah, 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 blah. You need somebody to crowdfund it. Ain't you supposed to be getting stacks and stacks and packs and packs and racks and racks? Well, you know, that's the song. Nah, son, that's what you always talking.
Right.
Now, if you was, you know, Jason Richards, who we, you know, we would know that Jason Richards is Jason Richards, and you just playing a part of so and so. So I think that again, like there's a lot of space for us to really reclaim, or not even reclaim, and also engage the humanity of hip hop. It's not just about being soft or sad or lovey-dovey. It's also about, you know, the trials and the real tribulations and the real challenges that we've all faced to reach the points that we have reached to whatever extent in our careers in this wonderful culture.
Right. Gotcha.
Man, Kim, you there's so much you saying that I want to dive into, but I'm gonna let Sincere go ahead and take the next.
You know, I gotta make it hard for y'all, man. I'm saying,
no,
I gotta get it in with some real journalism. I get to talk to the real journalists. I want to get it in there.
It's tough to do what we're doing today because, like I said, there's so much that we could talk about, man. But we'll probably have to maybe at some point do a Wait, what was your stuff? A real build session?
Build sessions.
Build, yeah. Check that out too. But go ahead, Sincere, man. Go ahead.
All right. While most artists and MCs had to lip sync on Soul Train, the UMCs did not. How did you guys pull that off?
All right. So, first and foremost, hold on, cause we got to do this right, fam. Like, it's one thing. Like, I'm about a lot of jokes, right? I'm about a lot of games, but one thing I don't play is I do not front on the source of a great discussion. You heard? And so, with that being said, it is extremely important that before I answer this question, you heard, that I take a moment to acknowledge and shout out our brother Dart Adams, all right, who actually asked, please ask how they got to perform live on Soul Train when everyone else lip sync. All right, I gotta, I'm that type of dude. All right. Because I be wanting them to know I'm watching, I'm reading, and I'm observing. I see what y'all say. He knows when you are sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good. You know what I'm saying? So be good for goodness sake. Yeah. So check it out. The story goes like this. This was a moment of absolute pure brilliance. Let me take my glasses off because I'm in storytelling mode. You want to hear about a moment of utter genius? Let me tell you this moment. Tony Rasan, who was managing us at the time, shouts to Tony Rasan, came up with a brilliant idea. Now, to this point, we had never known anything about Soul Train other than watching it on TV. It didn't even occur to us really that the artist lip sync. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of watch it, you vibing. You kind of catch it after a while, but right? Tony says, yo, fam, we got lip sync in Soul Train. He's like, word? Because we were a big performance group, bro. He said, yo, I got an idea. We're going to go to the studio. We go to the studio. All right? Here it is. Here's the moment where the mystery is revealed. What we do is we go to the studio and we record Blue Cheese and Wonder Growing Over live. Now, to this point, we had been performing these songs over and over and over again. So even in this moment right now, if I can perform Wonder Grow On with just all my ad libs to what Haas does, not the ad libs on the record, the ad libs for the show. You understand what I'm saying? That's how much we did that I know that even 30 years later, it's still hardwired. If I've listened to Wonder Grow On, you know what I'm saying? UMC, Nature, Fire, Creator, Kid, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm automatically know what to say because that's when he would need me. So what we do is we go into the studio and we record the vocals live. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Doing the thing. From the day we go in the studio, on the plane flying to California, all day, all night in the hotel, constantly listening to it just to make sure we didn't miss anything. You heard? So when we perform at Soul Train, when they play our song, they're playing the studio version that we recorded live. So if you watch the performance, you'll see a couple of moments where I had the mic down. But I'm still
saying something.
Yeah, son. So that bit of brilliant moment was all due to my brother Tony Rasan. He deserves all the credit for that. In terms of us being the first people to dive off the stage at Soul Train, I deserve all the credit for that. Because when we first went to perform, two things happened. Thing number one, we were at Soul Train with Don Cornelius and the Soul Train dancers. Of course, we was like shocked. I'm just like, wow. I'm looking for the Asian girl with the long hair. I'm looking for dude that be doing this all the time and be pointing his arm. I'm like, where is he at? That's the dude I want. Because you got to keep in mind that, remember, UMCs, me in particular, dancers as well as MCs. So I choreographed for Queen Latifah. I used to dance. I danced for Miss Melody in her first video coming to my house. Shout outs to Miss Melody. Beautiful, beautiful woman. Beautiful, beautiful woman. I don't want to sidebar, but I love her. You know what I'm saying? May she rest in peace eternally. Yes, and may God hear my voice and grant her more peace and pleasure in her passing. That's how beautiful a soul that woman is, in my opinion. But I digress. We're bugging because we're on Soul Train. I got a dancer background. I have a dancer background. Like I win contests in house music battles and all the cats that was going to Sound Factory, Tunnel, Red Zone, Wild Pitch parties. You know what I mean? Anybody that really know what it is, As soon as you heard me say Wild Pitch Party, you know my pedigree is. You heard? 10 o'clock boat, Staten Island, know what it is. 10 o'clock boat, we on the boat, we on our way to Sound Factory. Mom, I'm coming to Soul Train to kick ass and take names later. But I'm trying to science how it goes. When you go on a Soul Train, fam, which I don't realize is with a lot of these things that we see on TV, right? They're so tiny. Yo, I could have shot Soul Train in this 12 by 10 shed that I'm in right now, and you would think that it was like, oh, yo, that place, yo, you'd have goddamn like this. What is this, a bedroom? So we was thrown off. You understand? And like confused as to what to do to some extent, right? Like, and by confused meaning, do I go chase after Soul Train girls? Do I go battle these dudes dancing? Do I concentrate? Like, you know, you're just all over the place, right? Yo, we get on stage to do Blue Cheese. It has to do Blue Cheese first, which in the show, it happened second. Yeah. So we do Blue Cheese, and we're nervous. And it shows. So I started intentionally messing up my lip sync bad. You know what I'm saying? And he stopped and he was like, oh, let's bring it back. It was a little off. And I was like, yo, and then we huddled up. Real talk. We huddled up. It's like a scene out of the movie. All right, fellas. So one chance. So one chance for greatness. Are you guys ready? Let's go. You know, it was like so you know, we got the little fire up thing, like, yo, man, like, yo, son, let's go all in, man. Forget that, man. Forget these cats. Like, yo, sometimes you gotta disrespect people and feel like, forget these cats, man. Show them what we could do. You know what I'm saying? Right. Stand down, man. You know what I'm saying? So we got to run it back, That's the performance you see. Like, we went bonkers, and I jumped in the stage, and I was like, yo, I'm going, man. I'm going. And that's really been the way I live my whole life, man. Like, you know, if there's anything extraordinary about me, truly, amongst other things that I may be able to list, what I think is the most special is that I've always just been somebody that's like, yo, I'm trying to live I want my life to be an adventure. And I don't want to be on my deathbed regretting, talking about I should have did this or I could have did that or why. Like, there's some stuff that I'm gonna regret just because it just ain't worked out, but it's not good for lack of trying. That's the only regrets I'll accept. Shorty ain't rock with me. What I'm gonna do? Okay, that's fine. I didn't get a chance to do the blase blah. They pick somebody else. What I'm gonna do? That's fine. Might be a little regretful that I didn't get picked, but I'm not gonna be snitching on my show, man. You know, I had a chance to do this, that, and the third, man. I was just, I never heard nobody talking about all the fly shit they did at their deathbed, talking about they regret it. It only been the stuff that they missed out on. So that's how I live it, B.
Right.
Dope. All right, E, you're up.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out, because you mentioned two things in what you were just saying. But I'm gonna go with this one. So you just said, you know, for those that may not know, you were a dancer, choreographer. Yes. What was, let's say, your top 5 favorite hip hop dances from back in the day?
Shit, top 5 favorite hip hop dances.
I mean, if you got more.
Top 5,
not dancers, dances like the WAP.
Dances, yeah, the dances, yeah. Of course, it's the WAP, because this right here, this is the first, like, because you could, wait a minute.
Wait. Yo, since you said the WAP, though, what was the best song to do the WAP to back then? In your opinion? I came in the door, I said it.
Rakim, yeah. It's Rakim stuff. Because I remember when that would come on. Boom, bam, boom, bam. You got it. Hey, you got
that
it.
One too.
Yeah, when you could do it, you know, I got Soul Joint. When that would come on, because then we would do the WAP, or then we would do like the James Brown, the Happy Feet joint.
Yeah.
One of my favorite joints, of course, is you can't even. Hold on, now I gotta risk embarrassment, but it's all right though, because I'm nice with mine. Was Bismarck.
Oh yeah.
That was the joint. You know what I'm saying? Then shout out to Steezo
Steve
he
Zo,
danced on EPMD's
EPMD.
the
You
one
got to
You
chill.
got to chill.
chill. And he was hitting y'all with this right there.
Yeah,
Then he hit the he hit this joint right here. How that now. What else was the joint that I used to like? WAP, that was because you know what the WAP was dope? You could dance with a girl in a WAP.
Yeah.
That's what's made the WAP special. Like we used to be able to dance with a girl at even the hip hop, you know, you can like, what's your name, shorty? Shorty. Oh, what's your shorty? You know what I'm saying? Like it just was so much fun, man. Like yo, you remember how y'all seen Beat Street, right?
Right.
Yo, you remember how when Lee came into the club and everything was going on, like yo, you see people dancing, like yo, that's how everything felt in New York.
Yes.
Like it really did. Everything felt like that. Every time, I mean, shit, you get on the train and it felt, yo, what up, son? Yo, what up, son? break. Oh, you want to battle? What? Take it, grab. Look, I'm gonna grab some see his head. Look, I grab. Chew it up, bring it down my belly, it out. Let's get that smear it on E's face. Like I just battling both of y'all, violating y'all on your own show. I'm gonna grab your head, crunch you, take that, switch your brains. Wow, like, but that was that shit. It just is so
you're
much,
right though. You're right. You're absolutely
so
right.
much fun, man. And of course, b-boy, and like to this day, I b-boy. To this day, I pop lock. To this day, I could do my ground, stuff, turn my little flips, all that. I'm in fact, a year ago, I did. Well, now it's 2 years ago because now we're in 23. I did a video called Just Begun on,
Yeah. That was dope.
I spent 1 month training.
That was dope. Yeah.
You understand? And then I did my thing, hit that windmill, all of that. Because that's hip hop, son. Like that's hip hop. And I would be curious to ask everybody over the course of this year, as we talk about 50 years in hip hop, I would ask them like, yo, fam, when I said, when the height of your hip hop experience? Like, when was hip hop just the best for you? You're like, yo, when I was like 19, 20, I used to go to some. All right, cool. Yo, right now, out of nowhere, yo, a dimensional portal opens up and walk through that and into your room through that dimensional portal. Works at that version of you at 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna check out your life and see what your life about. Is he even proud of you? Is he even bang with you? You know what I'm saying? Are you hip hop to him? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about MCs, that dudes that got number one records. Ask them that. Ask them how hip hop they are right now.
I don't even think you gotta just ask MCs that, man.
No, I mean, no, but ask MCs.
No, I know what you're saying.
Ask the cast that's supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Die hard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you'll find out how you'll be surprised how many MCs don't have a microphone. Son, I got microphones coming out the wazoo. Like I got so many microphones rolling around this goddamn space that you would think that I got a band or something. But cats don't even have a DAW, digital audio workstation. Be like, you'll be surprised how many cats their engagement with hip hop began and end with the record label. But you want to ask people that. I would like to ask people that because I want to know, how do you preserve this culture in 50 years? 50 years of the culture. How have you preserved it all this time? And how do you preserve it in your waking moments, in your everyday actions? What is it that you do? Because we're in a very important time, gentlemen. And this is what's important about this time. The work for us has not ended. See, you, the hip hoppers out there, have forgotten. Maybe you don't even really realize who you are. You are the catalyst for change. Our generation has been the catalyst for change. We have literally brought the future in. We went from analog and we brought everybody to digital. Literally. I literally am one of the people that built the internet on a physical level. I was racking and stacking, working at Tyson's Corner and working at Reston, Virginia for MCI WorldCom / UUNet, literally racking and stacking, running the data lines and all of that for the internet. We're the generation that built from deficit when they took the upward bound programs out of our schools. We took vocational training out of our schools. When we took music and band and instruments out of our schools, it was our generation that figured out a way to take these two turntables and make them rock. And somebody figured out to just grab a mic and be like, yo, yes, yes, y'all, you don't stop. Rock, rock, y'all, you don't. Somebody had the mind to do that. And then somebody was brave enough to jump up and be like, son, like, this is who we are. And then we did it so dope and we stuck so then we evolved the entirety of electronic music. Audio and video innovations in the last 40 years have been in no small part exclusively the results of hip-hop and hip-hop's influence, which is another reason why I was railing about the fact that we're never out of character, because we're never out of character, there's never a chance for us to take a moment to have an academic discussion about the technological advances that hip-hop is responsible for. DJ Jazzy Jeff in and of itself deserves like 500 patents for all of the things that he has been involved in with his various relationships with various audio tech companies. You're saying DJ Johnny Juice is another one, you know, and so Rock Raider, rest his soul. There's all these different DJs who have been seminal in the evolution of electronic music. You understand what I'm saying? The amount of language that we have introduced into the lexicon of Americana and American conversation in general, and culture, that we are actually the largest export that this country has, even above the military industrial complex.
Right.
Black culture sells the best. This is who we are. This is this generation. This is who you are. You created literally something, not only out of nothing, but out of negative nothing. Right?
Right.
That today it's $1 billion business, right? But your work is not done. Because now we have to show our children who are doing what they saw mom and dad do. We have to show them what life looks like as a hip hopper at 40, 50, and 60, and 70, and 80. So one, we got to start making sure we take care of our health so we live long enough to be able to show them that.
Right.
And two, we have to show them that. The reason our kids don't respect us because we're not showing them nothing respectable. We showing them the hard grind of every day trying to be something and get something and work towards something and make something happen. But you're not seeing that grind fulfill anybody's hopes and dreams. And these young people have been born into a world where there's just enough ease that they can demand comfort. You understand? And if they're looking at their parents and they're like, yo, mom and dad is struggling, fam. This is not cute. I don't want that. I had a youth mentoring program called PEMG from about 2011 to about 2013 or 14 or something like that. My dates might be off. But I had upwards of 40 young people coming to my house. And I was just teaching them hip hop and stuff like that, man. Engaging my culture the best that I could. and trying to show them that something special was in this thing aside from the fame and the fortune. But the sad thing was that they witnessed me striving to get them some sort of attention. And they witnessed the people that claim to be hip hoppers, wax poetic about how it's supposed to, the mumble is rail against mumble rap. These young people were spitting fire, like they was just rhyming. You understand, fellas?
Right.
And to put a long story short, man, people just turn their nose up to them. I guarantee you ain't gonna put a guest on your show that's gonna out-rhyme some of these kids. Like I'm telling you for a fact, you got top 5, these kids will put them top 5 on them. I don't care who your top 5 is. Yeah, and I know everybody top 5 got Karis, One and Rock, and they'll body these cats, yo. That's how nice these kids was. Now, hands down. And anybody got any problem with it, come see me because I body you. And you will know that these kids are, you ain't got nothing for them. I'm just telling you real. Like, and I say it like, with a little bit of frustration and anger, only because I witnessed these young people that we always trying to engaging. Yeah, I remember one time, it's so real. I remember one time we did a performance at Zulu Nation anniversary. Shout out to Zulu Nation for this, because they were the one group that would give them opportunities to do things that were hip hop and claim to be hip hop. They was about it enough to do that for them, right? And I remember one time Chubb Rock was like MCing while I forgot who was DJing. So they got to a point in the set where Chubb was down, he was in the audience, like with everybody, and the kids was around him, and we was like 30 deep. Like that was what was bugging people out too. I would be coming through it, mad young people, but they was all good kids. You know what I'm saying? And so they was in there, they all around them and vibing and stuff like that. So he sees it, and Chubb get on that, like that old school, y'all don't know nothing about this vibes, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, come on, let's go, right? Mad love and respectful to him though, right? Like uncle stuff, right?
Right.
Like, all right, check this out. Yo, DJ, give me that one. So the DJ throwing so din, oh, din, before I let go. Them kids right with him. Doom. They right with him. Before I let go. They right with him. He's like, oh, word. Oh, let's try this. He throw another one on. Whatever, the old school joint. They right with him. And by the end of the joint, by the end of him finishing that little bit of set, when he was just doing the old school joints, pull the mic to the side. He leaned into me. He was like, yo, these are your kids? I said, yeah, these are all my babies right here. This is my youth mentoring program. He said, yo, you teaching them right, B. You teaching them right. And so that was a beautiful thing. For me, I experienced. And that same night, PMD approached me. It was like, yo, oil. Like it was, it's a whole nother discussion about that. I'll get into that in a minute. But yo, fam, I seen these kids, man. I seen them get their heart broke by hip hop. I seen hip hop betray them, like not show them the love that these young people deserved. And like every one of them now, they rhyme like these mumble rappers that everybody talking about they can't stand because they felt, what I'm saying, they felt hurt by their parents. And so it's real important for us, man, as much as many of us are upset with our youth in hip hop, we are the parents. And it's a job of the parent, to provide right guidance to their children. You understand what I'm saying? And it's the job of the marketer to market to the consumer. It's not the job of the consumer to market to the marketer. The consumer don't got to qualify himself for your product unless your product is very high end and you've established your business. No, the product got to qualify itself to consumer. And we have a bill, but we have to qualify that to these kids.
Right. Gotcha.
I mean, we put in our work, it should be evident, but they're experiencing our work, but not through us, but through other people who are offering them money and riches and fame and power. And so they're going to listen to that person first before they listen to their disgruntled pops that before they could get word go out their mouth, the father then disrespected everything that they love and believe in because it ain't his and from his times. And that's just not the way.
Right. Dope. Like I said,
yo, pardon me, y'all. I know that my answers be a little verbose.
No, you good. We're gonna use all
yo.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Here we go.
Like it's like it's bug. It's like an ill spectrum with hip hop and interviews. I imagine because there's like probably a lot of cats that will talk to you, and it's like you know, like getting blood out of. You're like, come on, baby. It's cool. Like, it's cool. Come on, man, talk to me. And then, but then on the other side, you might mess around, catch a dude like me, one of these long-winded cats, where you just, I'm answering the question, you in your mind like, come on, baby, come on. We gotta get that 5 more questions. Come on, get this done. I said, wait, hold, what? Arroz con pollo? Okay, all right. Well, as soon as you finish, all right. Come on, Kim.
Listen, man, yo, I know you joking and everything, man, but it's very important. It's very important to capture what you're saying, man, because we don't get that all the time. You know what I mean? Like, we could do this all day where we have somebody on and we're just like, you know, well, your top 5, this, your top, this is, and that's it. You know what I mean? But like you said, we don't get this type of conversation all the time. And if this isn't part of, like you said, we're talking about hip hop being 50. I'm about to be 50. You know what I mean? I grew up, I'm growing up with hip hop. And this is the first time, like you said, we don't know what it is to be our age really and still, you know, what do we do this? Are we still supposed to do that? Or do we, you know what I mean? So this is to me, personally, I don't know about others, but to me, this is what is part of hip hop, man. This type of conversation.
It's an important conversation because you know
what is life after hip hop?
What's life after 30? When everything that we were seeing and told all up until that point was that we supposed to get it at 20.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't get the G5 at 26, you's a failure in life. Like there's no, what's this? Like I remember I thought 40 was old. Man, I thought 40 was old. Like, you know, you're going to die past 40. Like that's just a rizzy for you.
Right.
Old. I'm 51 years old right now. And I'm in great, like, yo, son, I turn flips on y'all right now. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing. I'm in great condition, mentally and physically. I'm building stuff, and then I go play pickleball and I hang out with my. Didn't think it was gonna be like that. You see what I'm saying? Didn't know you didn't know what a 51-year-old rapper was gonna be doing because there wasn't no 51 rappers right now. Only thing we're gonna find it out right now. We're going to find out, can a 51-year-old rapper still rap and it mean anything? We're finding it out right now.
And I think that's one of the biggest problems that, let's say, somebody like myself and Sincere have when it comes to this music is that we're kind of, you know what I mean? We were used to growing up and having the music right there that we liked, right? And then it got to a point where it's like we're kind of growing, but the music isn't following us.
That is absolutely
incorrect. You know what I mean? The artists
aren't. That is not your experience, E. That is not your experience. It's not your experience. I'm gonna correct you about your own experience right now. You ready? I'm gonna science you because that's not. It's actually not your experience, and because because you think it's your experience, right? Is why we're confused. Check it out.
Okay.
Watch this because the premise is off. Check the premise. I remember when I was younger listening to hip hop. This is what I'm paraphrasing only because I can't verbatim. Listening to hip hop, and the music that I love was basically delivered to me. Like, yo, what I love, this was it. It was hot. That was what's on the radio. No, that is not what happened. Yo, bro, when you was young, you stayed up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning,
right,
to catch Stretch Armstrong and Bobito or Teddy Ted and the Awesome Two, Teddy Ted and Special K Awesome Two, or or wherever you was at. Maybe you was on the West, you was catching Sway and Tech. You know what I'm saying? Or wherever you was at, you was doing something extra to be in this cult that became a culture. You were endeavoring, because it only came on 2 times a week, Friday and Saturday. Lest we forget, if you was lucky and you was in a college town, you might have caught some Thursday and Wednesdays from a college show. We sought hip hop out. Remember when graffiti rock? Everybody that's hip hop saw graffiti rock.
Right.
At one time it came on TV and was like, "Yo, when is this coming back?" And it never came back until YouTube, and you saw it again. He was like, "I know I wasn't bugging. I knew this show existed." It's like, yo, I'm not bugging, right? You know what I'm saying? So that was not your experience, bro. Your experience is not that you had it delivered and it was happening for you. And that's not what happened to us. What happened was we built it. And because we built it, we were engaged 24 hours of the day in it. Because we built it, it felt like it was coming to us. But no, we were so into it.
You were in
You understand what I'm saying? That
it
felt like it was around, but it wasn't. We was just jumping from puddle to puddle, finding these little enclaves where it was at. And that is why we cherish this thing so much. We forget it didn't just come off the shelf. We had to squeeze that bitch to get it. You understand? And so the value of it, right? And then here's another thing. Remember this. We didn't have access. You see behind me, it's too dark for you, but yeah, you can see that right there? Mm-hmm. That's my MPC 2000.
Okay.
It doesn't even work no more because something wrong with it. I'm not ever letting that go because I busted my ass for months to raise the $2,000 that it took to get that piece of machinery. You understand what I'm saying? The barriers, the economic barriers to access hip hop, to create hip hop, were cost prohibitive. So you was not getting a deluge of music. You understand what I'm saying? You were not having access. You didn't have an internet. You didn't have 24/7 access to what's the goings on and all these podcasts and video things where you could go online. You had none of these things. You had the Source. You had XL. No, before that you had Teen Beat.
Right On.
Rap Pages. Black Beat.
Rap Pages, yeah.
No, not before Rap. No, not before
Rap Pages
was Teen Beat, Black what was it? Teen Beat,
Right On,
and Black Beat was another one. Like those were ones that you had. That was that ilk of teeny bop magazines that you could get an article or two.
Rap Masters.
Well, no, before, because remember these art even before. Remember that before the Source and Rap Masters and Rap Sheet, you know what I'm saying? Cindy Quaishi, who had a joint, I forget what her joint was called, but you had mad people that had dope magazines and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But before these magazines, we had those teeny bopper magazines where you might get a paragraph, you might get a little back page, jump off mention. This was hip hop. And I'm not talking about in 70 or 80. I'm talking about this was hip hop in the 90s, early 90s, 1990, 89, 90, 91. This is what we was doing. Nowadays, what's happening is you're in a deluge. You're super saturated because the access to the music, the access to creation, the access to distribution has ramped up considerably. You understand? So what you're having right now is this experience where it's an overload of whack shit because mad whack people can make music. And so it's like, yo, I can't find what I love. And the reason you can't find what you love, right, is because it's not on Friday and Saturday anymore. It's not in Downstairs Records. It's not in what's that joint in the Bay it's not in these big record stores no more. They don't even know what such thing as record stores no more.
There's no more Tower Records, none of that stuff.
You don't have none of these experiences are happening anymore. You understand? So you're not even it's nothing. So all that you have right now, you don't even know where to look. You're older now. So as an older person, we don't have like these like young people can get on a social media thing and then create a whole community around it and have fun and be silly and all of that while out very easier than we can because we when we ain't got the time, you tired, you get online, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to keep learning these new social media things. If Instagram is a wrap, I'm gonna be done. Like I'm like, all right, I'm done. I ain't got time for this. I can't keep chasing this shit. We don't got no institution no infrastructure that supports the idea that, all of these rappers that you wax poetic about and loved in them days are still making music, but they don't have any means by which people will hear it. You know what I'm saying? And so because of that fact, you're not able to stay up and experience the hip hop that you love because the delivery method is gone. You understand? That's the only thing that has changed. You didn't have an abundance of access before, but you had a clear and traceable delivery method that you could rely on. Now, even though the access has exponentially increased, it's so much so that it's an overload and you have no idea where to look. It's just too much. And so it feels like you don't have it, right? But it's all around you, and you stop being hip hop. And that's the part that no fan likes when I get to that conclusion. I'll be like, yo, the fans have stopped being hip hop. The fans lost their ethos. That yo, I'm up to 1 o'clock but because we've grown up. And so the delivery method has to adjust to accommodate for our growth. You're not trying to go. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I know for me, I'm not trying to go to no party don't start at like the show start. Motherfucker book me for a show talking about showtime 1 o'clock. I'm like, my man, y'all might as well keep the money, B, because I'm gonna be asleep. I got scared when y'all told me to come on the joint and I saw a PM. I didn't even see the 8 o'clock. I just saw a PM. I got nervous, like, yo, okay. I tell my wife, my daughter, make sure I'm awake. You understand what I'm saying? So if this is the case, that our demographic has had a very real chronological shift in the form of, yo, physically things are different. Like, I gotta take a nap, son. Like, if I don't get a nap, because you understand how cranky I would be, the tone of my voice on this freaking show right now, you would be like, yo, son, I had a real attitude. I have not had my nap today. You know what I'm saying, right? I'm in that type of world, right? So when you have that kind of reality, you have to be able, like, and these are the things, again, this is why we have to be able to step away from being Kool Kim all the time and sometimes be Kim Sharp, that's a data center technician that understands, analytics and, that has other skill sets. Why? Because then we can't have these conversations about how to forward and advance our culture because we're not even in a space to have intellectual, academic discussions, technical discussions about our culture and evolve it to any real level. You know what I mean?
Right. I think we got two more. You got me. We got 2 more questions for you.
You got me.
I got you, E.
You did.
I know you was like, oh, yeah, he pulled this one off. And I'm like, nah.
Nah. Yeah. I got you, man. I got you, man.
I'm gonna tell you something. I grew up
2 more.
In where I grew up, me and my man Mitch, shout out to my dude Bear, you know what I'm saying, Mitchell Palmer. I'm calling by his full name only because I want the world to hear his name. Because if you ever hear me say anything that sound like something real, that brother has a whole lot to do with that. You know what I'm saying? We were very blessed in hip hop, and shout out to everybody in hip hop for this. Because one thing that we all did, I think is very important, is that we all provided fatherhood for each other in some form or fashion. You know what I'm saying? When Grand Poobah was a part of the Masters ceremony, and they was doing songs like crack it out, crack it out. Hey yo, Viz, what's up? Did you hear what sis said? Yo, crack is the word. I looked and shook my head and said, you mess with crack, it better be while I'm dead. Because if I ever catch you, I punch you in your head. Or my friends do it. I told your friends a joke. I tell you plain simple. The smoking coke is no joke. Listen, I don't know if y'all remember, but listen to that line again. Hey, yo, Vince, what? Did you hear what sis said? Yo, crack is the word. I looked and shook my head and said, the reason why that line is so important is because if y'all don't remember, I don't know if y'all remember, but there was a song called Crack is the Word. There was a point where the music was going to promote crack. And hip hop. I can almost get, I almost cried just now. I gotta maintain myself right now because it's powerful. Hip hop stood up and stopped that shit. These young men and women naturally gravitated towards the healing vibrations that our people needed to see them through one of the most nefarious attempts at subversive genocide that this world has ever seen. when Queen Latifah sang UNITY, who you calling a bitch? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you have Jungle Brothers making songs like Black Woman, Femme Noire, I want to make a beautiful world for beautiful you, Black woman. Ah, fuck. I could barely maintain my composure talking about shit like that.
Yeah.
I remember one time I had the great pleasure to introduce the Jungle Brothers on the show. I'm gonna tell you how ill this is. I'm gonna tell you an ill story real quick. Yeah, fuck, man. Here you go, right? Listen, though, you know what I mean?
You guys.
Now, you know, of course, y'all know that I have two careers. One is Kool Kim from the UMCs, and I also one of the few artists to be able to have reinvented myself as the artist known as Nyoil, the ideal. And as Nyoil, I was greatly respected, like more than with UMCs. Like I was loved as UMCs. People enjoyed the joy and stuff, but Nyoil, people bend the knee. Now I love Jungle Brothers. You heard? Like I love them in the way that from a how you could say this. I respect the daring that it took for them to make Done by the Forces of Nature.
Yeah.
To make Straight Out the Jungle, that those first two albums that they did. They're the first. They're the first.
It's one of my favorite groups, man.
You heard that? I got medallions on their black medallions on their necks, Kente cloth. You heard Tams. You understand all these earth tones, vibes. The reason why there's a native tongues is because of these three men. The reason there's a Q-Tip and Tribe Called Quest is because these three men. And then everything that come after that. Everything that's born from this. And now I have an opportunity that I'm going to introduce these dudes. I'm backstage. They're in the dressing room. Now, as a general rule, because I've been UMCs and we had the kind of career where it wasn't always love for us, and it wasn't, people always didn't know us, so I always keep humble. Like I don't assume people know me or care about me, or I don't assume any of that stuff. And so I also, because I have the famous experience, I'm very sensitive to other artists and how they, in respecting their space and their privacy. I don't do like, I don't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? It's not my vibes. But in this particular case, I just wanted to say peace to Mike G and take a picture with him when trying to see when the opportunity presented itself. And so when the opportunity, like the double dutch of the situation presented itself, I went to approach brother and he was very cold and harsh to me. You know what I'm saying? Very standoffish to me. I don't think he realized who I was. So I floated back. I didn't say nothing. I didn't take it no way because I understood the bigger picture of what's going on to understand that it's not personal. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't say, yo, Kim Sharpton, yo, SMD. Like it wasn't that. It was, yo, you in the heat of what, in the midst of what's going on, the move and the groove. You ain't had the spirit of discernment to realize who you were speaking to. Not that they were speaking to should change how you speak to me, but in that case, you didn't even realize, yo, this is not somebody I should definitely have to talk to that person that way, right? Whatever.
Good.
But I ate that. You know what I'm saying? I ate it peacefully. You know what I'm saying? It's time to call him on stage. You know what I'm saying? It's time to call you on stage. You just shitted on me. You heard? I get on stage. Yo, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? I said, before we begin, I have to say this. Before Public Enemy, you know what I'm saying? Before Nyoil, before all of these cats, you heard? There's the JBs. You understand? Before all y'all talking about this pro-black and conscious and all of this stuff, the first cats wearing these medallions, it's the JBs. There are 7 wonders in the world. And tonight, I bring you the 8th. Ladies and gentlemen, these are, I said, ladies and gentlemen, the bravest, the greatest, and one of the most original groups to ever touch hip-hop. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the JBs. the JBs. Now, yo, I brought them out with everything I had because it was, for me, I'm bringing out these dudes that made these albums that I don't care who you are. I don't care how you play, baby boy. I don't care how you are in your personal time. This trumps all of that. This trumps all of that. So even if you was fouling me, I could give you grace to the utmost because what you did is so important and what it did to shape my life. Now, if we talk about influences, Jungle Brothers, big influence. Yeah. After the show, Mike G sees me in the crowd and he put, yo, brother, pardon me, man. I didn't realize it was you. Nah, it's all right, brother. Don't even give it a second thought. You heard? Don't give it a second thought. It's all right. Love is love. Took a picture, all that, da 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 da. 18 years later, this year that just passed. Yo, fam, I've been working really hard because I felt like UMC's just got a bum rap, and there was so many things in hip hop that I wanted to do that I just couldn't touch because my status, my social status, just wasn't enough, man. I'm not talked about enough, so I'm not the first name on people's list. It's just true. It's real. And so I worked really hard these last 3 years, man, and so people would care and notice and pay attention. And in the midst of working real hard, I had the opportunity to do a show in Richmond, Virginia. In Virginia Beach, Virginia. Now, mind you, I haven't performed in years. I had to work out and all that stuff just to be prepared for this show. Yeah. And the show is with the Jungle Brothers. I was opening for them.
Oh, wow.
And the promoter, my brother Mustafa Malik Shabazz, shout out to that brother in Next Stage Entertainment. He called me up while I was in my room. He was like, yo, Mike G and his man's, I can't think of his man's names right now. I hate that because his man's is like an amazing sneaker collector. So we just had so much fun talking sneakers, right? They downstairs, they stuck. Then they waiting for me, but I'm at the airport waiting for Africa. Could you like go down there and kick it with them and then that? What's the first thing you think came to my mind?
Told him about that time.
Fronting on me, like, you know what I'm saying? So let me tell you what I did, right? It's crazy. You're gonna love this. Let me tell you what I did, right? I went downstairs. I was like, yo, what y'all brothers doing? And he was like, yo, are we chilling in the net? I was like, yo, y'all good? You're still not here. You know what I'm saying? Son ain't gonna be back. He just called me. You know what I'm saying? You come upstairs to the joint. We gonna kick it, man. You know what I'm saying? Relax, man. You gonna kick back, man. Relax. So Mike Z and his mans, they come up to my room. We kick back, throwing some TV, and we just talking, man, and vibing. And by the end of the conversation, Mike G like, yo, so take my number, man. You my man, yo, so you just like me, man. And ever since, me and him been fast friends.
Nice.
And I never mentioned this shit, right? I think you remember, right? But I never mentioned that. Never mentioned. It's classless. It's not that. Even though me mentioning it now, it's not really classy. But the reason why I mention it, and the only reason why I tell this story, is that that's hip hop to me, man. That it's this long journey that we taken, and through the twist and the winds and all of that, man. If you're mature enough, if you love it enough, and if you stick to it long enough, man, yo, there'd be some ill happy endings to this, man.
Right.
There'd be mad moments where spaces of closure and peace and positivity find their way to you. Moments of beauty and transcendency happen that you generally wouldn't associate with this kind of music. But it's there and it's happening. It's just not celebrated enough. So I tell a story about how I got dissed by a group that I loved, only to be embraced by them years later. Because it's not over, y'all. It took 50 years to get to that point.
Right.
So imagine what the next 50 years have to offer us. Damn, I love hip hop.
Dope. All right, Kool Kim. Hip hop's about to turn 50th this year. You've been in the game well over 30 years. What do you consider the best 10 years of hip hop that you've seen?
Man, I had to say, man, like, shit.
And it doesn't have to be like 80 to 90. It can be 86 to 96. It can be,
Right, right, right.
whatever.
I would say 85 to 95.
Okay.
You heard? Or 80 or 86 to 96. You know what I'm saying? Like in that, because there's a lot of dope hip hop that's like, there's a lot of like this the Kid and Play era, the Rakim era, the Slick Rick era, the Bismarck, the Juice Crew era is happening like from 86 up. So you can't act like that wasn't like everything. But then, 91, which is the year that UMC's come out, that September, the releases that came out from about July to December is the seminal and most celebrated hip hop. Every album that came out there is a big, 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 big album, and big groups came out with albums that year, including Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory, including Cypress Hills, Killer Man, including
Naughty by Nature.
yes sir, including UMC's, including Nice and Smooth,
Black Sheep.
come on, you understand? So come on, like, so 91 is like a very, like, if I stop at 9, if I could say from 86 to 91, and I have the best years of hip hop in that alone. If I continue going past where we start reaching into the Puffy years, which I think the Puffy years were a great set of years for hip hop. People like to diss him for the shiny suits and all like that, which I thought was stupid that they would diss something as silly as that, right? Because he's an entertainer, not a rapper. He's an entertainer,
right?
So he's entertaining us. Let him entertain me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When I called it the Puffy hour or the Bad Boy hour, you go to the club and then that hour or the DJ playing nothing but bad boy music, but the club rocking the entire time. As soon as that bad boy shit start playing, you're dancing for an hour and change until the DJ decides to switch up, because you have no other choice. So so that's where that's the reasoning behind my answer.
Very dope. Appreciate that.
Dope. We got one more.
Yep.
All right, let's see. What did I? Oh, okay, I got one. Can you give us your? It doesn't have to be top 5 in any particular order. Hip hop documentaries.
I can't. Because.
Or can you name us some of your favorite that just come to mind? You know what I mean?
It's just that I think that when we talk about documentaries, chronicalizing hip hop, that we're still at the infancy of that, and we're still kind of looking for the voices that can adequately tell and narrate those stories, not just like the actual, like, is it James Earl Jones or is it Morgan Freeman voices? I'm talking about the voices that are going to compile the information to narrate the stories. And I really haven't encountered that yet. Like, I haven't, I'm a big cinema guy. Like, I like good storytelling, and like, I'm into that. And so for me, I'm not seeing that much. And so as a result, I think I might be missing a lot of stuff, because I'm kind of like, I'll wait till it's a little, I'll wait till I hear about something dope, and I'll go take a look at it. And then also what I don't like, and I don't enjoy very much either, is that the media that exists for hip hop that does kind of go into the documentarian sort of energy, it's often more from the seedy, Smack DVD, not Smack DVDs, no disrespect to them, because they do the battle rap thing, right? No, it was like Feds or something like that. I forgot what it was called. Like, they had where it was like, It was a very like you had to go buy the tapes. You would buy the tapes. Like it was hard to get your hands on them if you wasn't in the city. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
they spread around a lot, and it was always like a lot of like people flashing money, and you would be like, it's just some hood stuff. But that would be most of what is documented is more the hood, and I sold drugs, and it's like, yo, mad rappers made it and didn't do none of that, yo. Most of the rappers, like that's the thing is illy about a lot of this. These cats went to college, son. Like these cats is geeks. They listen to rhyming, the motherfucker rhyming, and half the rhyme is comic book reference. This is not somebody that was out hustling all day. That's a motherfucker that was in the house surrounded by mad comic books and playing Atari 2600. Like, come on, like stop fronting. So it's like you can't even document any real stories because the premise of hip hop is perverted by certain people to the extent that you're not hearing stories that matter. You know what I mean? Like I'd like to hear the story of Skilo or of what's my dude that I wish I was a little bit tall. That's Skilo.
Yeah, that's Kilo.
That's Skilo. And there's another one back in the days when Ahmad. Yep. I want to hear about these guys. I want to give me a documentary on Chameleonaire. You know what I'm saying? Let me science boy out. You know what I'm saying? Like, but whenever they want to show us, it's never sufficient that the us that they show is an intelligent human being with multi dimensions. It has to always be this crime to, success story. And it's like, yo, fam, what a terrible message. You understand? We live in a copycat society. Young people go and get it how they can get it if they see it. And it's look like this. We live in this thing where people show you the beginning. Oh, he was in the hood and struggling in the ghetto just like you. Cut scene. I'm sitting in the G5, chilling, having a good time with all the women. It's like, yo, fam, what was all of this right here? What happened, son? What was all of this right here? What maketh this man? It's here. And this is not the story that's being told. You know what I'm saying? For us to have a conversation right now and for my opening statements to be about my mother is and for it to have any impact is an indicator that the conversations that we're having in these formats are valueless because we're not talking about those things when I see these documentaries. We're not talking about the people that made it so that the next person following behind can understand and navigate better because they can learn about how that artist qualified the people that he worked with and how Mammy so-and-so who loved him so she put a mortgage on her house and made it possible. But nobody talk about that because that don't fit the narrative. We only hear them documentaries. They go like every story. They met, this amazing rise to fame, the journey to get on. They got on, the rise to fame, drugs, alcohol, and wild behavior, and then the sudden fall off. Fuck that story, yo. Fuck that story. I don't even watch that story. It's a loser story. I don't want to watch no loser story. I don't do loser stories. I want to watch progressive black men and women, Latino men and women, you know what I'm saying? Asian men and women. I want to watch progressive people of color doing dope shit intentionally because that's what we did. UMCs did what UMCs did intentionally. 16-year-old young men. We did what we did intentionally. When we wrote rhymes like, don't sit beside the shoreline thinking about your woes, read the rips and waves, identify your foes, then realize in this instance of existence, there's great resistance to the minds that mix this. Yes, I've made things known, but then I'm telling you in 19 years old, on When the Growing, I was telling you what was happening. Yes, there's great resistance to the minds that mix this. And when you're talking about black people that's making hip hop, I was talking about us. And why was I talking about us? Because we were intelligent. And I was experiencing them doing everything they could to stifle intelligent voices. This is not bugged out conjecture. So what good is a documentary about rapping blah, 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 who ain't said nothing new than what he said on his album?
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see the documentaries about the UMCs. You don't see the documentaries about these groups that were pointing people college bound. So when they were pointing you college bound, in tandem with what was going on with the Cosby Show and a Different World and Spike Lee movies and all this positive energy that was pointing where college attendance had drastically increased in the Black and Latino community because of this cultural impact, the same cultural impact that Mao Zedong implemented in China, where it was a social revolution, where we're going to uplift. That's why if you ever watch a Chinese movie right now, any kung fu movies you watch that's like Chinese based, you will see like these scenes, especially like Ip Man and stuff like that. You'll notice there's these scenes where like, we are China, we must stand strong together, we will rise together. It's intentional. That's what even now, years after Mao Zedong, they still make that kind of media because culturally it's been ingrained to them that everything they create, everything they do promotes the greatness of China. We were on that tangent, but there is a constant intent to suppress and oppress great minds. You understand? Because in a capitalist society, intellect is not good.
Right.
A smart shopper is a cynical shopper. You need dumb shoppers, so they keep people dumb. You understand? So out with this intelligent crap where you got 19-year-old rappers talking about apprehend my method is apparent. I see clearly this world's transparent. Do you understand the threat that represents? So you ain't heard, we have not seen documentaries yet because all you're hearing is just video versions of the rap songs. It's just bullshit. It's pablum. It's just pablum that they just and then they feed it to you like, yo, you drink it. Oh man, this is deep. It's not deep. It's not. That's not story's not unique. It's not special.
Right,
and then
right.
after the time you watch these documentaries, it's the same story. But you're never getting the stories about the cats that live these solid lives. You're not getting the story of a UMCs. If you got a story about me, it would be a problem for this whole industry if they heard my story for real. It would be a problem for this industry to hear my story for real. It would be a problem because it'd be a problem, yo. Because the one thing that first it would be like, yo, wait a minute. He's done all of this. He's responsible for all of that. He was there for that. Wait a minute. Why aren't they talking about this dude more?
Right.
This is not me. Believe me. I'm not tripping. Like, oh, now I'm gonna get on that whole. It's about me. Why does anybody?
Yeah. No. I get what you're saying.
I can say me because I know me, right? But it doesn't. It's not. I can interchange me with Chip Fu, with Mikey D, with any number of people who are super dope and have something really important to share and have a ministry in it. But you're never gonna hear their voices. And so I say this to y'all, gentlemen, please keep doing what y'all doing because the greatest threat to the history of a culture is revisionist. And while you guys have the capacity and the platform to speak to people and hear their stories directly, even the ones like me that ramble all night, you heard? Fam, it eliminates revisionist ability because you're hearing it from the horse's mouth.
Right.
And that service to our culture, we can never thank you enough for that. And in the end, we'll know just how important what you guys are doing and what many of you like you are doing, how important it is. So I in 50 years of hip hop, let's celebrate the MC. Let's celebrate the B-boy. Let's recognize and respect the DJ and the graph artist without question. Let's acknowledge our knowledge of self as well, because it has been a uniting factor for us over these years. But let's also carve out some serious space to take a moment to recognize the journalists, who have chronicalized this culture and help package it and make it palatable to the world. The journalists who have asked the great questions that have not only allowed us to see the humanity in the artists that we have admired, their shortcomings, but have informed us on things that we just didn't know. Let's acknowledge the people who have marketed and merchandised and packaged this culture and made it a sellable commodity, because there's no business without sales. And these unnamed people, these record reps, these local DJ, radio reps that used to be scattered all over the country trying to work a record, man, these are the people that, if you took hip hop, man, these are the heroes that we got to talk about too, man. These people, I remember, man, the Lynn Tollivers of the world, and I remember the Harry Fobbs, God rest his soul, of the world. You know what I mean? That these guys, I remember Harry Fobbs coming to a station, man, and he knew everybody and everything and everyone's name. You know, saying this is a hip hop MFer, man. And this brother, man, he go in there, he come in there politic, and he knew, hey, yo, this and that, and he knew how to do. Son, how could we talk about hip hop for 50 years and we not talking about these amazing nameless people, damn near, that in the immortal words of son, that what's that singing that be, never would have made it. Yo, we never would have made it, fellas, if it wasn't for these people.
Right.
For these talent scouts out there, for these concert promoters that's out there in this world, that, yo, shout out. Let me give another thing real quick. Let me say this too. If you're gonna clip anything that I'm saying, right? Share this. On behalf of New York MCs, I want to say something. And I may not, and I'm not speaking for New York MCs. I'm speaking for myself, but this is my feeling. This is Kool Kim speaking. Not Haas G, not UMCs, not MO. It's Kim Sharpton speaking. I want to give a shout out to the international hip hop community, but especially the South and the West and the Midwest. Let me tell you why. This culture owes the South, the Midwest, the West such a debt of gratitude that we cannot ever thank you enough. And why do I say that? Yo, man, when the Fresh Fest tours was going on, them Def Jams tours was going on, you know what I'm saying? When all them first tours that was propagating hip hop throughout the world. Yo, New York cats was not driving to Florida to fill up them shows. New York cats wasn't flying to LA to fill up them venues, or to Texas to fill up them venues. It was the South, it was the Midwest, it was the West that believed in this music, even though the faces was not theirs. The conversation was culturally not theirs. And we found out that that was true because when they finally got a mic in their hand, what they said was different and in a different way than what we had heard before. But regardless of that, they stood and they supported us. And in New York's hubris, we wouldn't play their records. We wouldn't invite them to perform. We wouldn't work with these people. We didn't support. And that's a great injustice, because this culture exists and it traveled around this world because people from all over this nation that believed in what these kids from New York, from the Bronx was doing. And so for a moment, just for a moment, if no one else ever said it, let me say thank you, national and international hip hop community. Thank you, Bay Area hip hop. Thank you, Florida hip hop. I went down and hung out and before I moved down in Augusta, and I visited Atlanta years and years and years ago. I hung out in a club in Swats, the real Atlanta, not the New York. Everybody from New York, Atlanta. This is the Atlanta motherfuckers is going to this club. And I went to the club and these cats was in there talking about, give me that donkey butt and them big old legs. I ain't too proud to beg. Come on, girl, let's shake that thing. You see that butt swing. And I seen how they was in there like, And they was rocking out. And everybody knew I was from New York because I was damn near half naked. Like, they're twerking, their booties are shaking at a phenomenal rate. You know what I'm saying? But I left that club that night, and I love booty music. I love booty shake. Why? Because I understood the cultural context of it. You understand? And when my man D. LaBrie sat and talked to me about Bay Area hip hop, and he tell me how it all gays and how and I chilling in the gusto. I'm talking to my man Salim the God. He tell me about how his cousin used to send him a New York tape, and it meant something if you had a New York tape. Yo, I got a New York tape. Yo, you got a cousin in New York. You get you be like, yo, so send me a tape. That's big equity. It's big. That's currency. You know what I mean? Depending on where you live.
Yeah.
You know, all of y'all did that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all champion this. Y'all sold this music to everybody. You marketed. You made it. You made it. Y'all made it. We created it. Y'all made it though.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to be somebody that acknowledges that, man, because I can only imagine how frustrating it must be to have loved this culture so much from wherever you are and to be completely ignored. There's still plenty of regions and states where there's dope artists and dope music crying in their pillow wishing somebody cared. So when you ask me, you know, am I happy to be this thing that I am early on?
Right.
I get on my knees and I thank God Almighty for this life that I have, that men have come to me and cried because of the words that I've written. These words ain't even mine, yo. These words belong to the Most High. Now, what is a 19-year-old talking about? Don't sit beside the shoreline, think about your roads, read the rips and waves, identify your foes. What the fuck is that? Where does that come from?
Right.
What is it, a kid? You come from, you're 19 years old, you write a song, Never Never Land, and you say, but we are the kids from Never Never Land. True, but never say you couldn't when you should say you can. Because if I would have too, when I did what you now see me do, I would have never welcomed you. That does not come from 19 years old, bro. That comes from something bigger and better than you, speaking through you and using you. And if you understand that, then you get on your knees and you genuflect before whatever thing you think is in charge of this shit. Because you know that you're nothing without it. I got all behind this, all this you can't really see so well, but you can kind of make out that there's like books stacked there. You know what?
Yeah.
And there's a blue one right there. And that blue one, y'all should all get lynched. There's a couple of the blue cheeses in there. When the Growing is in there. The second album is in there. My third album as a solo artist. And my oil, y'all should all get lynched is in there. All of this stuff is in here. And I open up these books sometimes, fellas, and I don't even recognize what the fuck I'm reading. I know it. I know I wrote it. I recognize the words in the sense, like I get the syntax and all. It's me, but it ain't me, man. It ain't me. And there's times where I write rhymes, and someone came back to me and it told me some meaning they done found in it that now I'm blown away. Like,
Right.
I didn't even realize that I said this. That's this music, man. This moment of genius and inspiration, born from nothing to become a $1 billion industry. That's 50 years, man. That has raised men and raised women and created opportunities for us and gave us something that crosses every line and boundary. We are the most powerful religion, one of the most biggest nations in the world, as we all worship that boom bap. And that shit don't stop because it's hip hop.
No doubt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Kool Kim.
Yo, my pleasure, fam. You know what I'm saying? You see, I gotta put some Vaseline on my lips. I don't talk so much. My shit is flat tires. Right?
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate your time, man.
It's my pleasure, B. Yo, I appreciate you, and Sincere, I appreciate you too.
No
for
doubt.
popping up on my live and vibing with me on that too, man. That
Yeah,
was
no
dope,
doubt,
man.
no doubt.
You know,
Oh,
I'm
of
gonna
course.
be doing a new joint build session soon.
Okay,
So
we'll be
I
on
would
the
love to
lookout.
have you on because I'm a really like, you know, this is the type of discourse that I want to have about our culture and just life in general. You know, I think there's so many spaces that we're just not having real conversations about life in the real way. And so there's so much, you know, we got to do for each other what we did for each other as kids, man, and raise each other through some of this shit because we don't really got no answers other than the ones we're gonna formulate from fucking with it. You know what I mean? So yeah,
No
I
doubt.
appreciate your support, man.
Yeah, we'll definitely drop through when you decide to start that new one.
Yeah. That'd be soon come. I'm just finishing up the studio, you heard?
Dope. Appreciate you,
Even better.
brother.
All right, man.
Yeah,
You said
yeah.
appreciate y'all too, man. Thank you for thinking about me and having me on. You
Oh,
heard?
always,
Of course,
man.
man. This was a long time coming. Yo, since
Yeah,
I
you
know
gotta
you got,
tell me this
I
thing,
gotta,
man, before you go.
yeah.
No,
It's not even
I was listening. I heard what you were saying.
Yeah, I gotta
Go
hear
ahead.
this. I need to hear this.
Oh,
I need to hear this.
About
right.
your
Now.
friend. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. The question, my friend, is something simple, man, and quick. But
It's all good.
before I get to that, it's
Yeah.
more important that I tell you this. I was started off telling you, you know, love the UMCs. We used to listen to your music all the time. You guys vibrated, you know, within us because we were on that same type of time and vibe back then.
Right.
So it meant a lot to us. Fast forward, no more. We don't see UMCs, whatever, right? Boom, boom, boom. You come out NY Oil. I'm talking about, this is for me personally. I don't know that NY Oil is Kool Kim.
Right.
You get
Y'all should all get lynched.
y'all should all get lynched. I come across that. I think I want to say it might have been like MySpace, bro, or something.
Yes, it was MySpace.
It was, right?
It was MySpace, yes, sir.
I'm like, yo, I just sort of, you know, and I'm seeing like you had like a little video kind of.
Yeah.
So I'm watching you. I call him, I'm like, yo, you heard this song? Like, you seen it? You know, we're going back and forth. So I'm like, yo, now I'm like, this, yo, NY Oil, this dude is hot, this dude is crazy. Not knowing that you're Kool Kim. So I'm following. Fast forward again, I believe it was the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival, if I'm not mistaken. I think Redman, I forget who was there, but we went to it. And NY Oil comes out on stage. I don't remember. I don't think you performed. I think you might have came out. I don't remember correctly, man, because there was a lot of nutcrackers and stuff going around. But you said NY Oil and you said Kool Kim, and I remember being in the crowd with my man, like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, yo, that's Kool Kim from the UMC. So that's when I put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, that's cool that, you know, you came out, you reinvented yourself and all of that. And not only that, but I felt so good in a way that I was a fan of NY Oil without knowing that it was Kool Kim.
Yeah, like you authentically bang with it either way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it made sense. You know what I mean? When you put it together. Then I see, you know, you got the build sessions on Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah. Wow.
I used to tune in. I used to listen to the interviews, man. I'm like, man, this
hurting me
like,
right
yo,
now.
he's doing it. You know what I mean? And this was like back when you were doing more like, man, I remember I used to catch videos of you like interviewing, like you know, people
Al Sharpton and stuff. Like I would catch cats. Like yeah. I get at him, yo. Yeah.
Right. So again, boom, fast forward, man, and I kind of saw, you know, your progressions every time, like when the Blog Talk Radio, Facebook, right, and then you were doing your
the renovations
to the house and building the house from scratch. I forgot what was you called
Life
it?
After Hip Hop.
Life After Hip Hop.
Yes.
Following that, your journey with the bar.
Wow, come
your
on,
music,
man.
Hold on now. So your music, you know what I mean? All these different things, man. Like all these, you know, do this, do that. Sometimes, you know, and I saw, you know, even to this day, like every time you come out, like the collab lab and this and that, and you do things, and I've seen so many times where you kind of get a little frustrated.
Yes.
Right? Because you're like you're trying, and then sometimes it's like, yo, like what else do I have to do?
What else do I got to do?
You know what I mean? The thing you were talking about with the kids, like, so I've seen, dude, I've been like watching, right? And I've reached out to you a couple of times here and there, like, yo, let me share your video on my website or this and that. And you always, yeah, here, or you would send something here and there. Then I meet Doc Sauce, right? And she's like, yo, that's my
sister.
man.
Yeah.
I'm still his wife and me were cool. And she would tell me sometimes, like, I'm going out to visit.
Yes.
And she told me about the what's that sport you play again?
Pickleball.
Pickleball.
Yeah.
Never heard of.
She came to see us play too. She came to play one time. Yes.
So because we were doing shows together for a little while, like we interviewed Haas G and shit like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I always want, I'm like, damn, I wish that I could like talk to this dude. Like sometimes when I would see you, like, yo, like what's going on? I used to kind of be like, yo, keep doing what you're doing, man. Like there's somebody watching and listening and being inspired. You know what I mean? But so even when I was with Doc, I'm like, it came up a couple of times about trying to get you on. Yeah. But at the same time, at that point, I feel like, I'm rocking with her. She's really cool with you, like on a personal and the family. So I kind of took it like, you know what, that's cool. Like that's good. I don't have to be like, oh, yo, get on, so we could talk. Right. Because I'm like, that's cool. That's really,
Yeah.
And I reached out to you once, and you got sick. I don't know if you remember. We were supposed to have you on, and you got a little under the weather, and we're like, yo, we'll reschedule it. Yeah. And boom, here we are now, right? So it's like timing is always the right time for certain things to take place. And the only reason why I'm saying all of this, man, is because everything that you said tonight hit home. There's a lot of things that you said that really touched me. And I want to tell you, man, personally, that I have the chance to is to like, yo, just keep doing what you do, man, and don't worry about like they're not seeing you, they're not hearing you. There are people hearing you, man, and you're making an impact. You know what I'm saying? Yo. So like, yo, I'm not telling you this. I know Sincere is probably gonna like, yo, man, we supposed. This means more to me, bro, than like if we didn't put none of this shit out. The fact that I have the opportunity to tell someone that I've from whenever the hell year that was when you guys came out to now, like you said about Mike G 50 years later. Yeah. And you know what I mean? Yeah. That means more to me than anything like that. That to me is what hip hop. That you just put that. We one of our main tagline is we represent that true hip hop feeling, and it's hard to express that feeling if you don't experience certain things. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you just kind of put some of that back in me, like when you would. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just want to say thank you for everything you've done throughout the years, bro. And then on behalf of myself, Sincere, Changing the Hip Hop Guards. Yo, just keep doing you, man. Just keep being you.
Yeah, let me
say
the most
I can ask.
Let me say this, E, and let me say this as well to you, Sincere, and for an artist like myself who has had to struggle through the entirety of this thing, like it's just a struggle, like never really understanding like, well, what am I doing wrong? Like why who what have I done? You know what I'm saying? That
right.
Why wouldn't they ever just like I'm the most underrated MC in the world. Like I am the most underrated MC. You understand? Because you cannot be, if you're on the list, you're not the most underrated. I never on the list, on any list. And yet I have this like amazing career. And sometimes, man, it make me sad, yo. To be honest, I can't really put it any other way, man. It just makes me sad. I don't understand. And then I don't understand how I try so hard. Like I be doing fun, dope shit. Like I be like, yo, it's not even about money or nothing. Like this is just dope. Like fuck with me. Like what's wrong? You know what I mean? But fam, what I do know is this. As much as it may have been a goal or dream or whatever you would characterize to be able to say, yo, I spoke to Kim, man, I told this brother how I felt, man. I'm glad I got to share that thought with that brother while he alive to hear me say it. I can tell that man that he impacted me on some level, and I've been rocking with you, boy. Don't stop. Like it's as important as that is for you, bro. Questions like that, conversations like that are the encapsulation of everything that I dreamed of. Bro, I did this shit banging on tables, bro. I was in a lunchroom with my friends. I was a kid, dreaming that one day I would write rhymes and someone would give a fuck that I did it. That I would be a quality of man that I could hold my head. When I go to see my whatever it is that I gotta go see, when this is done, I'm gonna hold my head like a man, dude. Like I said, yo, you gave me these talents. I try to do the right thing with them, B. You know, whatever I face, whatever hardship, whatever difficulty came my way, I ain't hide it. I ain't front. I ain't act like it was good when it was bad. If I struggled, I shared it with people because I ain't want the people that was struggling to feel alone. Because it's lonely, yo. This fucking world is struggling, trying to get through it and figure out how to make it and what to do right. And I don't know how. It's lonely. And if you feel like you're the only person in this fucking world going through what you're going through, what choices in this world are there for you? So I try to live a life that, yeah, I have a life full of winning. Like I'm winning big. I'm winning before these 3 years of people acknowledging me as a lyricist. Like as an artist, I'm finally winning. But as a man, I'm winning big. My wife loves me. Big. My mother, I make her laugh. I can make my mom's laugh on some real, like we at the bar having a good time. My kids respect me and they love me and they do stuff for me. And my daughter helped me. I'm winning.
That's
I'm winning.
That's
But fam, when it comes to this music, when it comes to this culture, I'm never gonna stop. I'm gonna die trying. You heard? And the reason I can do that is because of the one or two people like yourself that share with me those thoughts, and it inspires me even when I'm tired and I want to give up and I don't feel like anybody cares and I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. I honestly promise you that this will now be one of those things that I will think about and I'll be like, yo, I got to get up out of the bed, even though I could just lay there and watch comic books, cartoons all day, because that's where my life is at now. You know what I'm saying? But it made me give up because I will know that somebody give a shit, and I don't want to leave that person alone. You're gonna ride this bitch out till the wheels fall off. You heard? Whoever go first.
You caught me on something earlier. I just want to catch you on one now. Not trying, you are doing.
Yeah.
You're doing.
I'm definitely done. But you know, you always got to say, you know why trying is important?
I know, but you're doing.
You know why trying is important? Because we have to always leave room for the possibility that something great is going to happen.
Right.
So I'm trying to do this. There might be a greater thing for me to do that may call for me, and I had to do that. So I won't be doing this no more.
right.
Something else. So right now I'm gonna try to do this, and I'm gonna stay true to it, and I'm gonna do the shit out of it while it's for me to do. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, I have talked y'all ears off to a level that you have never experienced in your life. But I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, I am your friendly neighborhood fly guy, Kool Kim, the blue cheese MFer. We had to give you one to grow on. I am NY or the ideal. You know what I'm saying?
Wait,
and I approve this message.
Yo, my man Diego just wanted me to ask you, what was the concept behind blue cheese? He said he still doesn't know what
There's
blue
no concept.
cheese means.
Tell him that he was
concept.
brilliant. There's no concept behind blue cheese.
Okay.
The only thing that's notable about blue cheese, all right? Blue cheese. Let me just put this package this real fast.
Okay.
Blue cheese. What's brilliant about blue cheese is that at a young age, I was aware that the reading comprehension of the average listener was 4th grade reading level. And so I knew, and I told this to Haas. I was like, yo, Haas, don't worry about trying to make it about something. Just rhyme. Just flow. The beat is fire. Just flow. So that's why when you listen to the second verse, my second verse, the final verse, it's nothing. It's just ear candy. It's Joe Budden shit. Like, you know, back to the nest at the foot of the tree. One for the hype MC, the Kool and me, the Kim, the Kool and I'm a slave for no man. Stand like Lopan, slam like Rodan. Who can? You can. Damn, I'm not really saying that. Stand on granddad. Step off the runway, I'm preparing for landing. 3-point drop, turn, stop. It's not. There's no words there. There's nothing there. There's nothing. There's no like I can if I say the words the one to grow on, it's depth.
Right.
If I say blue cheese, it's fun.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So after we finished writing, he was like, "Yo, what we gonna call this?" I was like, "Yo, let me call this drink blue cheese," and that's how the name started. The same. That's how it became blue cheese.
Gotcha.
Just very whimsical. Very whimsical.
That's it. So there you have it, Diego, man. That's my man Diego from Get Yours Posse. There's your answer.
Yo, shout out to Diego. That's a great question. You know what I'm saying? Diego, though, for the big prize, wherever you at, my brother. I want to know. You put in the comment section, tag me, so I can know. What was the chorus to Blue Cheese? That's the question. So many people get this wrong. So, and let me just tell you, it's not I don't know, because if that's what you think it is, you don't know. All right. So Diego, let me know let me see how official you are about, bro. Write down the chorus of Blue Cheese. Anybody else that can do it, let me see what y'all come up with. I guarantee you it's gonna be hilarious in the comment section, what y'all see.
I'm gonna definitely send it to him, man, and see what he says. Cool kid, man. Once again, thank you very much. We appreciate your time, man. And
absolutely
keep in touch.
Always, man. Always.
Bring us on your new show.
I'm definitely, man.
All right.
It's gonna be amazing. Guys, thanks for having me. You heard?
All right. Appreciate
you.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace,
all right,
brother.
Peace.
Peace.